Hello everyone, welcome to the bonus zone. My name is Patak. We are running ahead of schedule this morning as JKL's Bard's Tale run was excellent and very quick indeed. And so I'm going to run one of his favourite games, and one that I love as well, called Mamono Hunter Yohko, on the Genesis. And this is the tale of Yohko, who is a demon hunter, who goes around hunting demons in her lunch break because she's only a high schooler. But she gets into scrapes and trouble because she's overly fond of boys, although, to be fair, I can't blame her. And she's got epic pretzel hair, big old sword, and this is a really fun little sort of bullet hell game that was a Japan exclusive platformer. And it's a really cool run because it's slightly different every time, so it's similar to Super Hang-On yesterday, and you can learn the beats of it and not have to do too much de-rusting. On which subject, I ran this last Sunday, so it's easy for me to pull this one out my arse. We're going to do an 80% run of the game. I'll go to the opening animatic for you now. So basically, Yohko has been trained by her grandmother Madoka in the ways of hunting demons and killing everything in her sight, and the school's being blown up, which is no good. Hey Wanderer, hey J-Muff, hey Sanchez, hey Toasty. So let's begin. So, Mamono Hunter Yohko. Yohko has got a big old sword. If you hold down the sword button, you'll get a shield. We can fire the shield in any direction. And the main mechanic of this game is going to be using that shield both for offense and for defense. So I can use that both to bait these mosquitoes and to kill their projectiles. There's going to be a lot of those. There's a lot of projectiles, there's a lot of health, there's a lot of checkpoints. Because this game says I'm hard, but I'm going to let you get checkpoints and encourage you to beat me, because you start out with 35 lives. We've got slope physics right from the off here. It's not a game for the faint-hearted. And every time I get a health refill, my health's going to refill slowly. But there are times actually when if you take too many hits at once, your health won't regenerate in time for that to take effect. So there are times when you can play quote-unquote correctly and you're still just going to get beaten up, and it's okay, because it's virtually impossible to get a deathless run in this game. A couple of us have done it once or twice. Leap of faith. Boing. Notice Yohko is wearing heels, more power to her. Wonderful music in this game as well, programmed by Klon and Messiah. You may also know them as making, I think it's Wings of War and Trampoline Terror. First boss is a giant moth who can control the wind. So we're going to walk on some leaf triggers to get him to change direction on the wind, he said, failing. Nearly getting blown off. Don't know if that mean getting blown off, haha. On the first boss we've got a slight cheese strap, if we can get up there, where we're going to just rest under a lily and try and hit him from underneath, because there's a hitbox in the sword tip as well as in the shield, so hopefully we can get some double damage and some mashed potatoes. Nope, he's hiding. Come here. And we took a death because I went too early. Premature Mamonoing, this is no good. But as I say, a deathless run is virtually impossible anyways, so it's not a blooper, it's just part of the game. And the lore of this game is really cool because there's only been 6 runners on the board. Each of us have held world record, each of us have brought something new to the table, and we'll get to them in time as we discuss the game. Let me concentrate on the first boss so I don't mess up again. If you think this is bad, wait until you see the final boss. I have literally lost half the time of the run on that boss before. There we go. When we kill the boss, we're also going to jump off and die because it saves the timer counting down. Chat, I want you to play a game. How many times is it going to take me to get the skip in this level? We're in a volcano. We got lava. Now, until a couple of weeks ago, I would have said to you, the skip coming up is a sub-pixel dependent, 1/4 pixel frame perfect skip. But then I found a setup for it after 6 long years. Now, it's called the soda skip. If I get it first try, I'll treat myself to a soda. So I've got some Rockstar in the fridge. Other brands are available, drink caffeine responsibly. But if I don't get it first try, there's a setup which means I'll always have the correct frame to be able to go off these ledges and get the correct subpixel. So maybe I'll get it first try, maybe it'll take 5 or 6. And it's a little bit of RNG in the run. If you want world record, you'll basically need to get it first or maybe second try. I don't do the setup for the first try because I'm naturally good at just getting it without thinking. Boom! That's a kind of rock star for me later on, thank you very much. No D-rust needed, pulling it out my arse. And now we're going to try and climb the side of the volcano. We're going to say hello to Bert and give him a kiss for luck. And we're going to try and get past some fire bars, but if I jump like that and kill myself, that's not a good start, lol. That is a blooper, but that's okay. If you said one in the chat, treat yourself to a cup of something cold and refreshing. So, we're going to try and climb up the side here with the cycles. And you would think that with all the generous cycle platforms and the checkpoints in this game that you would be okay at taking it easy. Well, I would say no. This game really rewards you actually for playing aggressively, as we're going to be very, very close to getting past there, but just dying. So the more you can get past the checkpoints each time when you play, the more you will grow as a runner. And it's interesting because you've got to sort of separate your left hand with your D-pad and your right hand with your face buttons, which are just B and C for jumping and stabbing. So it's sort of like a piano recital in terms of a slight disconnect, and it's easy to become discoordinated with that. You've also got a little bit of lag management with all the bullets that are going to come on screen. We're going to see a lot more of that in the upcoming levels. But we've also got some cool tech as well. Speaking of which, the aforementioned JKL came up with a big old skip in the end of the game, so shout outs to him for making it a lot more consistent. We'll give Bert a kiss for luck and we'll go to the second boss, who's got some epic flame mullet hair. I'm going to try and get a quick kill by doing some backstabs on him here. Nope. Misaligned. Killed myself again. It's all gone Pete Tong. But the last time I ran this game, I took a few tries on the final boss, so it'll all even out in the wash. Plenty of time anyways. And this game was based on an anime. It's one of the few Sega games that are based on an anime, such as Mystic Defender, Zillion. The anime only had like 6 episodes. That's a death kill. That's very lucky, because that's even more quick than usual. Blanket isn't happy, but he can go and have breakfast as we go into Scene 3. Fishies. If you've played a Genesis game of any sort before, you'll know that they are based on procedural RNG. If you enter a stage on a different frame, with the tiniest little difference, everything goes wonky and pear-shaped. Which is unfortunate because I don't eat pears, I eat bananas. But enough about that. So all these fish, all these mosquitoes are very, very random indeed. And it's common to do nothing wrong, but still just to get bitten like that and killed out of death. But that's okay. Like we say, lots of checkpoints. And when I first played this game in the summer of 2022, it took me a couple of weeks just to get past stage 3 without dying a lot of times. It's definitely the sort of game that has a high learning curve at first, but once you get the hang of it, it feels pretty comfortable. And I'm just having my arse handed to me today, but that's okay. I'm not doing anything wrong. Speaking of fish, shout out to Obscure Lifeform. He's going to be running some fish fingers on the Genesis on Sunday in James Pond. That's another of my favourite childhood games. That's going to be amazing. These land fishes here, not only are they extra wide, but their hitboxes are awkward to get past when they're on an uphill slope. So that can be a bit awkward as we get lots and lots of lag here. We've also got some moving platforms, horizontal elevators. If you slow down on them too much, you can actually end up missing your next stop. So it's counterintuitive, but it actually pays you not to play too fancy on those, even if you take a couple of hits from the fish. A little water tornado there for absolutely no reason, but it looks pretty. So I'm also going to shout out V-Trim and the Mother Brain as we take another death there, because they got this run into ESA a few years ago, and of course, this morning. that was a great race, and Motherbrain and B-Train really started to grind down the time towards the 17 and the 16-minute range in this game. And I was going to mention it later, but I may as well mention it now that Motherbrain has been mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, third time in a row, I get the JKL skip. Swag strats, way. That's a frame perfect trick there where you can skip one of those platforms. That's amazing. I've earned that soda. Tomorrow, at 6 PM British time, 7 PM European time on the Sega Crew channel. Nelson, if you could shout out Sega Crew when you get a chance. We're going to be hosting the reveal of the 9th Mega 16 race. It is back after a few years of hiatus, as we kill a lobster and send him down into the briny deep and go for a swim. The Mega 16 is the biggest and original greatest gaming challenge on the Sega side of the retro speedrunning community. 16 games with different difficult goals. Thank you, Nelson. 6 weeks to learn them, and then a big old race at the end as we go into the cave. These bats are going to throw droppings at me, and the droppings are laggy. So, to those of you who are lazy with your recycling, you should recycle more often. You will get less real-life lag. We got some cute snacks. The boss of this stage is going to be a giant snack composed of skulls, which is about as metal as it gets. Stage 4 is where it gets really tense, because if you're on a good run, you are going to start overthinking every decision as we get some grubs coming out of these trees. And again, it's easy to fancy play this game. It's sort of like poker, where in theory there's a basic path to route, but there's always a nuance somewhere along the way. I love the music in this stage. It just feels very atmospheric. And we've got a massive amount of bats incoming here. So we're going to try and group them together. We're going to try and do a little ball skip as well, because it's just a swaggy strat to do. It doesn't save any time, but it's like a frame perfecty thing. I learned this game from JKL. It was the very first thing I saw him running, although I met him due to Fish Fingers, which was when... Yeah, Patak, great. Great job, Patak. Get the skip and then jump back down. What can I say? I wanted more wood. Come on, Yohko. There we go. So yeah, I learned this from him during the pandemic about 6 years ago. I fell in love with it straight away. And then I spent about 6 months grinding the game down in order to get the world record, thanks to the new skip he found. And previously to that, the world record was held by none other than MSM. If you don't know him, all I'll say, he's a Toho player. That should tell you all you need to know about his level. And his run doesn't have the skip in, and the skip is literally the only difference between my run and his. That's about the 4th time in a row I've failed that jump. I am beginning to lose my Mamono license. Me and moving platforms are not the best of friends. However, in the game I will be presenting for you later on today in your scheduled programming, there will be some platforms I will skip. Now that is a French game, so I don't know, maybe the platforms are on strike. Here's a perfect example of the whole checkpoint thing, where a lot of people would just take a death there and restore their health. But it really pays you to try and get to the next checkpoint in this game. And because there are so many, like 10 or 11 per stage, it's really easy to measure your progress and to know what can I improve on each run, what was good each run, that was not good, but the snake wanted a hug, and it was a nice hug. It's all okay. So we've got these 4 stages that we're going through now, and we're going to get some gems that are going towards a demon carousel in the final stage. And what we're going to do is break the gems so that the demons can't ever come back. And that demon carousel has a big old long moving platform trip on the way to it, and a big long trip on the way back as well, because it's on like a... what do you call it? A diversion. English. Me speak English? Impossible. And JKL found that you can skip that second ride back by checkpoint abusing. So I'll get to that in a moment, but right now we've got the most amazing boss ever. Big old snake. I'm going to concentrate because this guy's a killer. Good start. No damage. Snake's got colic, let's help him out. Quick kill, no problems at all. 0 health lost. Let's do a Michael Jackson. Shamamono, Shamamono. Shout out to Cremara if you're watching. So, we are going to go on stage 5. We've now got snow, we've got airfish, we've got beautiful dragons. And I'm going to be doing some counting at some point in this stage. You're going to learn numbers with Patak. And then later on I'll be playing a French game and we'll do some numbers in French. 6, 7. So basically what we found is that you can checkpoint abuse at this demon carousel and get warped back to where you were, which saves 50 seconds. And because of that, I was able to get the world record down to 14:15. Now in theory... Oh, what the hell was that? You absolute Sherlock attack. That's terrible. This game makes me look like a fool every time. I love it. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a skip where I can move from one moving platform onto another. And then I'm going to have time to jump off early or late. But in theory, if you've got a perfect run, you could get a 13x. I don't think I would want to do that because I've already spent over 100 hours on this game, which is an incredibly long time because it compares to Concerton, to Batman Returns, which are two of my other big favourites. I would say if you enjoy old school Genesis games that have got a really nice vibe to them, you don't want too much learning but you want a high skill ceiling, this is going to be the game for you. You can modulate your exposition in the air as well. I wish someone would modulate my exposition, but it's not my taste and goes. I'm going to kill this lovely dragon here. The final boss, by the way, is a series of clones. We're going to despawn a few of them, but then we're going to have trouble with the next phase. But first of all, let me kill this guy and do a bit of counting. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to land on an 8 here because that gives me a little bit of margin either way. And of course, you must dance. Yohko is not going to be late for class, we're doing decently well so far. Very cool dress, pretzel hair, it's all amazing. And the anime, I'm not a connoisseur of anime, I like stuff like animated comedy more, but I've watched the She-Ra anime as well, and I think this one's really cool. It's quirky, it's fun, I can recommend it for a fun little summer's watch. If you want a gaming anime that's really good, I'm going to recommend you Akai Photon Zillion, as we get a perfect Gemerald kill. We're going to go back to where we came, checkpoint abusing, and then we're going to go into the final boss. Thank you so much for watching this run. I would love to teach some more of you this run. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, not a 13, because we're going to go from one moving platform to another yet again. Not unlucky 13, all good. I'm going to concentrate when we get to the final boss. I'll be back in a little bit with Unundian Don Laville on the Game Boy. Until now, this marathon has never had a Game Boy game. We are going to put that to rights. And then this evening, I'm going to be running my favourite NES game, but it's a modern NES game that you might not have heard of before, called Steel Moons. But JKL and I would love to teach you this run, so if you're interested, hit us up. Let's save the health for a backup and let's do the final fight. Cloner armor. So we'll stand here and try and despawn a few of them. That's worked. All these clones can move where they want. We've got a platform that we can fall off. And in the second phase, there's going to be a big old statue shooting eyeballs at me as well. This is going reasonably well so far. We're going to watch the credits as well regardless because they are really cool. Good first phase, second phase incoming. So there's a little bit of mashing required in this game, a little bit of pattern recognition, but mostly it's the sort of game that you can play casually and just enjoy, you know? I would say a sub 20 is a good target for a beginner as we take a death, which is perfectly normal. Yeah, sub 17 would be like a good, strong level time for this. And if you want my world record, you've got your work cut out, sunshine, good luck. You're not getting it. I'm going to keep it for the end of time. Here we go again. Having a little bit of trouble here, but that's perfectly normal on this fight. Hey Decold, thank you for the raid. Welcome to the NissanTV Marathon, where I am getting my arse handed to me by Mamono and Yohko. It's very common, even for the top players, to lose a couple of cycles on this boss fight, especially in a reset run, so it's all good. We did the Volcano skip the first try, I did the JKL Swag skip the first try, and we're having fun, aren't we? It can't go any worse than Flimbo, can it now? Haha. Okay, this is looking good. We can even lose sight of the clone because she moves all over the map. Low health, this is tight. Ooh, yeah, we're having trouble, that's okay. We always give a nice generous estimate with this game, it's all good. Today was a good day to die. Where's the clones gone? Well, that's a flesh wound. Ah, the final boss does what it wants. This is one of those games, certainly, where you sort of have to earn your stripes mentally. Because there are times you'll play perfectly and the game will just say no. And I'm lucky because I'm very good as a runner at knowing when a game is just giving me the business and that it's not my fault. It's good for your psychological, this one. Especially when you have to know that a run is just going to pop out when you least expect it, as far as a PB or a record or, you know. Not trying too hard to PB, just playing. Have we got another one left? I think we have. No, we don't. There we go. Ooh, scary. There we go. Job's a good one. That was Mamono Hunter Yohko in 22 minutes 44 seconds. Let's watch the credits. They've got a really beautiful bit of music. Yohko is going to go back to class. She's not going to be late. It's all well and good. Thank you for the GGs. So once we've watched these credits, Mr. Nilsson is going to transfer us over to your regularly scheduled programming with Super Metroid, another of the female superheroes of our time. Watch the anime of this, it's on YouTube, it's really cool. And then later on today, I'll be back with Un Indien dans la Ville, which is actually now my favourite Game Boy platformer, because it's got lots and lots of rich, interesting tech, but it's also got some stages that are completely free. So it's very interesting dichotomy. Love to see some more of you pick up this game. Thank you so much for watching. Mr. Nilton, sir, transition whenever you wish. See you later.